Okay, let's talk about batch apex. So this interface is given by Salesforce. Okay, for doing some functionalities like updating lot of records at some time at some with a batch class you can update it. Generally the limits of batch class is more than the actual apex limits, apex corner limits. Okay, the reason why is you are running lot of operations and it's running asynchronously. Okay, not on specific time on some button click. It if you want, if you schedule at 5 p.m. today, it may run the batch class at 5:1 or 5:2 minute, 5:3 minutes also. It depends. Okay, whenever the system is free, whenever the resources are free. Okay, it runs asynchronously and it runs on a lot of records. Batch class, so batch jobs can be programmatically invoked at runtime using Apex. Okay, so by using schedule Apex, I can schedule the batch class every weekend, a Saturday, or like that. Okay, so, generally you might know the governor limits of Salesforce. There are very less, but coming down to and for fetching accounts, for fetching, there is a lot of DML operations and things happen. You can only query less data, you can modify less data, but the requirement in batch apex is you have to update millions of records. Okay, or for suppose all the records created last 1 week. Okay? There are many records, there can be 50,000 records also, so I have to do some operation on that records. Okay, generally I can use batch apex for that. So you can update, you can delete records according to some scenarios. I can run all that things. There are three methods in batch apex. One is start method, execute method, and last method is finish method. First of all, in the start method, you're going to create some query, dynamic query, which can means on what dataset what you want to perform the data operation. For suppose if you want to perform all the records created last 1 week, I'll say select ID, name from zip code, address from contact, where created date is like today minus 7, means created date greater than today minus 7, and created date less than today means all the records of the last week will be queried in the query. I will be using that query inside my start method. Give me a second. Yeah, so the start method, you are just returning a query, the required dataset on what you want to perform the data operation. Okay, in the current scenario we are only performing the on the records created last 1 week or updated last 1 week. Okay, you can say last updated date. Okay, is between this system dot today minus 7 to system dot today, means obviously it get all of 1 week records. That records what you have queried will be passed in the form of scope. Okay, that is a list of records, right? It can be 50,000 records also, that's called scope. It's passed to the list. Current context, batchable context BC, I will be using this BC context in all the three methods. See, database.batchable context BC, database.batchable context BC, database.batchable context. I'm maintaining the same context. I am passing a list in the execute method, that is list of records which I am querying from this, that's called scope. The scope means on what I want to perform the operation. Okay, on that I will perform some data operation. So I'll get for suppose if my scenario is contacts, the list contact or new list contacts for subject as object s scope, means if I don't know what object record is inside this. Okay, so as object s is scope, it's a list, it's some object, I don't know that. That's the reason I give as object yes list of as objects. list of contacts or list of accounts like that. In this current scenario, it's a account related query. Okay, account. That's the reason the scope is accounts. Inside for loop, if it is a account, I use account. I'm converting the S object S to the account. This is conversion. Okay, I'm setting, hey, this S object S is now account A equal to account of S object, means it only, you are saying that S is a S account and you are storing the properties into the account object A. Okay. Later on, I am adding this account to the lst.add A. If you want to do perform some logic operation, you can do inside this. Inside this for loop, I can change the zip code based on the address verification. I will verify the city and state, and I will put the proper zip code for that. Account dot a dot billing zip code equal to some new zip code based on the location and stuff. And after that, I will add that account record to the list of accounts, list dot add a. All the updated records will be in list accounts. In our scenario, list contacts. Okay. At the end of this for loop, I am using delete list, because here the scenario is deleting the list. But in our contact scenario, as we are updating the zip codes, update list contacts. You can use that so that the contacts will be updated according to the scenario what you have given. And finally, the update operation will go. Again, you have to use try catch. Okay, that's the best practice. And later on in the finish method is generally useful to clear. For suppose if you have done large bulk data operation like updated lot of records, you want to send some email to the administrator saying, hey, the batch operation is successfully done, or the batch operation have some issues, that is this. If you want to do some message to the administrator, yes, you can do that with the sending email. All the finishing things can be done in finish method. For suppose after the data operation is done, if you want to clean, if you want to do some operation or send some email message like that, the type of activity will be done here in the finish method. As I said, there are three methods: start, execute, and finish. Start is useful to define the dataset what you want to perform the batch operation, and execute method to run all the logical part with the scope what you got from the start method is going to use for you're going to manipulate the data of that scope. And finally, finish method. Yes, hey, your data operation is done. I'm sending a simple message to the admin, or even I can send some patching work. I can do some work at the end of it. Okay, that's how batch class will work. So I'll put on this. I'm taking discussion in Canva. So as I said, I will encourage you guys to create discussions. I will keep this published. Okay, yeah, yeah. So even I got the for soap and related things also. I got some message. Um, this is related soap API and REST API. So there are some recordings again for what's the best practice to integrate, and what's the difference between SOAP API and REST API. And I do have some very big document in what scenarios you have used the integration. There are multiple types of integration at the presentation layer, at the logical layer, at the data layer. There are multiple ways you can integrate. What is at the presentation layer? For suppose inserting a Google map means it's a presentation layer integration and logical layer integration. When you're clicking on a button, sending some update or sending some data to some other system, that's a logical integration, logical layer integration, data layer integration. Once the data is saved, you are going to run out some batch at the end of day and send all the data to other systems. That's the data integration between the systems. Means you are doing the update the data at the end of every day or migrating the data. Data integration can also be done like you can connect with some third-party tools like Informatica Cloud, Cast Iron, and you can import the data from Salesforce with some online orchestration. Yes, you can dynamically import and you can transform the data and you can move the data to other systems. For suppose if the date format in Salesforce is different and the date format in SAP is different, if you want to migrate the data from Salesforce to SAP, the accounts data, yes, I can do. There are a lot of dates information on the account object saying last modified date, last created date, account, SLA, end date, all this stuff. I have to transform all the dates with the transformation with the tools. I can use that. Okay, that's called integration of the data layer. The data is saved. You are integrating the database. Okay, to the systems. Yeah. Let's talk about schedule effects. Okay. So generally, schedulable interface also is given by Salesforce, which implements schedulable. See, this is a class which I'm implementing schedulable. Okay, I'm just implementing schedule. This is a standard interface. Okay, and again you have option to monitor also, monitor schedule jobs. If you go to administration setup, monitoring, click on monitoring, open schedule jobs. From there, we can create a new schedule job, or you can manage the schedule jobs. And again, scheduling a Apex class can also be done from the Apex classes. So if you click on Apex classes, there is an option for you to schedule to do that. Schedule jobs. Okay, click on this. If you click on this, you can see the schedule jobs currently available running in my system. Okay, there are different jobs. Account update. Okay, and data export. This is also a job. Okay, we are exporting some data and report running. That's also another job. Schedule job. I can manage. So this is the actual schedule job, the Apex schedule job. The other jobs are report run, data export from the system. Okay, at once you can export all the data from the system and you can store. It sends an email to you, and it will ask you to download the file by showing a link to you in the email. And also this operation, reporting notification, some reports sending email reports to the email. That's also a scheduled job which cannot be manageable, but I can delete the job. These jobs I have scheduled at the report level. You know that how to schedule the report. It's by clicking on schedule. This option is only available for manage option is only available for scheduled jobs, Apex scheduled jobs. You have scheduled some Apex by clicking on manage. I can say he went to execute this job. So I have tried a schedulable Apex code for that, implementing schedule Apex, and inside that schedulable Apex is nothing big. You have to simply call some Apex class, which has to be run at some time. I can call some batch class which will run after every day at 5 a.m. Okay, I will generally call that particular class, but I'm setting the time here. While I'm scheduling it, I'm setting what is the job name, what is the class which I'm linking, the schedulable class. This class is linked with that batch class. Okay, this is not the batch class, this is the batch class schedulable which has to be scheduled. And what's the frequency, weekly or monthly, and what day I have to execute, or every day means you have to check all these options, start it and end it. I can run this batch job for the next 5 years by clicking on this. Okay, by clicking on, I can give 2020, that will run for the next 5 years. And the preferred time, what is the time you want to execute? The preferred time, it will show it to you. If the system is busy, if the Salesforce server is busy at the time, it may schedule after some couple of minutes later of your scheduled time also. Like if I want to run this job at a morning 4 a.m., that's really good time. Means midnight times, evening times are good times to run your scheduled jobs, because the morning times people use the system. If you are using the system, they feel more confused when the data is changing automatically without your interference. Okay, that has to be done in the back end. The system will perform, means will crazy, if I'm really crazy if you are running the scheduled job in the morning times. The people will feel that some system is not working properly. That's the reason I have to execute the scheduled jobs at the night times. Okay. I can delete this and I can even cancel this. If I want to modify, I can modify this also. Scheduling the job where can be done. Expanding it, click on Apex classes. There is an option called schedule Apex. It's loading. Okay. On the top, there's a button for running test classes also. See. Schedule Apex. By clicking on this, it simply asks you what is schedule job name. It generally shows you, hey, there are these schedule jobs, you can only schedule these jobs. Okay, I'm opening that screen. It's taking some time because of my MacBook battery. Okay, it's almost done. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So I will be clicking on this to open the scheduling thing, batch name. If I click on this, I can only select and pick only the schedulable. See, schedule Apex classes that implement the schedulable interface to be automatically executed on weekly or monthly intervals. I cannot show the classes which are not implementing schedulable interface. Okay, I can only show the classes in this option that are using schedulable interface. See, there are only 4 methods in the system which are using schedulable interface. That means there are 4 schedule classes in my system. That is batch class, which I am already doing. Schedule class, I can also do that, and 2 other schedulable classes coming from Syntony application, Synety application. Okay, it depends. Okay, when you're installing the App Exchange application, also you already got some batch jobs or scheduled jobs. You can run it according to your customer requirement that have to configure on your own. Okay. Okay. I do got some other videos which I am explaining about the scheduled job class direct coding example. to you. I will share that recording, which is already there in the system. If not, I will map that recording to you guys. Okay. I want to close the current call.